Good morning. How are you all together? Well, what a week. Another week in the van. Another week in Van Central. Look, recording at my little mobile recording studio on wheels, also known as my home. Look, got some fairy lights. I'm a proper van lifer now. I just need a sticker on the back wall with a compass on it. You understand that if you understand that. One or two people are having a little chuckle about that one, I'm sure. Well, how are you all together? Are you keeping well? Are you parking up safe in some nice places? I hope you are. Hope you're enjoying everything and the world's treating you well. I hope so. What happened to me this week? Well, sort of not really a lot. Haven't been really going anywhere much this week. I kind of been saving the pennies a little bit, been sort of economising a little bit because you've had to spend a bit of money this week, but more about that in a minute. What else happened? Well, I don't know if any of you saw my little short video I put out. I got attacked in my van. No, I didn't really. Not attacked. No, I made that sound a bit dramatic for the little short video. You have to a little bit, but no, I wasn't attacked. I was parked up. I was parked up in a quiet little village in the sort of the little area that I stay around. Just a quiet little spot, nowhere in particular. And yeah, there was obviously some lads back from the pub. Well, I assume lads, men, whatever, women, I don't know. And yeah, they thought that'd be ever so funny as they walked past my van at about, I don't know, 11:30, quarter to midnight, somewhere in there. They gave my van a great shove, didn't they? Like an earthquake. Van was rocking about. All my utensils up there clanging about. They must have thought that was ever so funny. Did I go out and confront them? No, I didn't. As a wise man once said, you pick your hills to die on. That was not a hill worth dying on. There was no point me going out there and confronting half a dozen drunk people and telling them off for shoving my van. They didn't do any harm. I checked the van the next morning. There was no harm. There was no damage to the van. That's just somebody had a giggle, didn't they? They thought that was funny to shake this poor boy out of his bed one night. So, yeah. First time, 3.5 years nearly, and it must be nearly that now, that I've been doing this, and I've been a full-time van lifer and lived in this van. That's the first time I've had anything. I've never had the old knock on the door in the middle of the night that everyone's frightened of, and I've never had the van damaged, touch wood. That's me touching wood, touch wood. Touch wood. Never had the van damaged, never had anything like that. And, yeah, just this once. And I must admit, has it put me off van life? No, not in the slightest. I will still be a full-time van lifer, I hope, for many, many, many years to come. It's not going to put me off one little thing where some drunk idiot shook my van. But it does raise some points, doesn't it? It does raise some points about van safety. I heard a story of a friend of a friend. Well, not of a friend of a friend, yes, who is very new to van life, just a couple of weeks in. And I remember back to when I was a couple of weeks into doing this, and it's that kind of terrified, scared bunny rabbit stage in your van life, where if you park up in a car park, you hear another car pulling, and you pull the old duvet up under your chin, and you're looking around, and you're convinced that you're about to be killed at any second. You're not probably going to be. You know, you're not gonna. It's although you hear it occasionally, and you hear it occasionally in the Facebook groups, and you hear all that kind of thing, statistically, you're very unlikely to be attacked or anything horrible happen to you while you're staying in a van, if for no other reason than because you move about. And as they say, a moving target's harder to hit, isn't it? Which is one of the reasons you don't stay in one place too long. You go from park to park to park, and then people don't get used to seeing you in one spot, and they probably don't figure out that you're in the van, and then they probably don't have a grudge and decide they want to do something stupid to your van. I mean, if something silly like, I don't know, I've heard of eggs being thrown at vans in spots. Obviously, people trying to dissuade people from parking there. Well, the honest truth is, if all that happens is the odd egg thrown at your van, or somebody shoves it in the middle of the night like my van, the honest truth is there's no great harm done in that. And you either choose not to go back there, or you leave it a long while before you go back, or whatever the case may be. There's no great harm done. But I think what it does do, that educates you a little. I think one of the things you develop as a van lifer, you get a bit of a sixth sense, if that makes sense. You develop a bit of a sixth sense for telling if you think a spot is okay. If you pull up in a place and you kind of just pull up there and you have a little look about, and you might jump out the van and just have a quick little nose around. If it don't feel right, if they say trust your guts, if they don't feel right, if your brain's just going, oh, that feels a bit dodgy, bit of broken glass on the floor, street light doesn't work, that's going to be pitch black, or, that's a dark old alley, then you don't park there. You develop this sixth sense, and that keeps you safe, and that stops you parking in places where that might be a little bit dodgy, and that might be a little bit scary, and there might be a chance. But, yeah, has it put me off? No, it hasn't put me off. Should it put you off? If you're thinking of being a van lifer, or if you are a van lifer, should the being scared that you're going to be attacked at any minute put you off being a van lifer? No, of course it shouldn't. You can't let other people put you off living your dreams, having your dreams. You can't do that. You can't let other people put you off. If you decide this is what you want to do, you should go ahead and do it. Yeah, that's what I say. And you're fairly safe in a van. It's a locked steel box at the end of the day. They've got to work pretty hard to get to you. If you've got a mobile phone with you, you've got a way to call 999 and get some help to where you are. Do you remember? I said about that clever app. What 3 words? That'll get them right to your van. But don't let it put you off. That doesn't put me off. That shouldn't put you off. It's very rare. It really doesn't happen very often. It gets dramatised a bit because it's clickbait, isn't it? It's a good way of getting attention to a Facebook group or a website. Oh my God, somebody attacked in their van. Shock, horror, the end of van life as we know it. None of us would be safe to van life anymore. It's not like that. Don't let it put you off. Anyway, enough of the lecture. What else happened this week? Had the van serviced. We had that booked in for that. That was planned. My mate Bob Turner again doing it for me. And while he does the service, while he does that, he has a good look round the van. It's a good thorough service. They check, they have the wheels off and check what your brake pads look like. They check all sorts. So it's good and thorough. And as you might remember from the MOT last month, we had a little problem with the handbrake and stuff like last month. That took a little bit of finagling to get it through the MOT and to get it working well enough. We had a look at it this time, and they had the wheels off, and we had a look, and we sort of decided the brake discs at the back, they were looking pretty shabby. There was a lot of rust on them, and they were looking a bit of a mess. We thought that was time I'd had a pair of them put on there. They're not hugely expensive, so we thought that was time I'd had a pair of brake discs put on. The pads were a bit unevenly worn. They were worn more on one side than the other, which sort of suggests that your brake calipers aren't working properly. What do they call them? What's the sliding calipers? And they were probably sticking a bit, so they all wanted pulling apart and just cleaning up and some fresh brake pads putting in. So they did that for me. And the handbrake, we had a struggle with it. That was the handbrake cables getting a bit corroded and a bit rusty on here. We lubricated everything up last time, and we wiggled it around a lot, and we got it working, and that worked enough that was safe for the MOT. Excuse me. And it worked properly, and that was all okay. We didn't bodge it, and we didn't. It was working okay, but we just thought that was while they were under there, while they were doing that, that was just a good idea to change that at the same time. So that cost me a few pennies. That cost me just a pocket change short of about 600 quid, I think, all told, to have the service done. A good service, good oil, Castrol oil, not cheap and cheerful, but good oil. Proper filters and air filter and oil and fuel filter I have done every year, the whole lot, so I know it's all right. That cost me a few quid, and that brings me to a valid point. If you watched my video previously, and you watch my video about the budget for the van, you'll see I put money away. And I do. I put money away every single week. Not a huge amount. I can't afford a lot because I don't earn a great deal nowadays. But I put money away, and then that's in a bank account, and that's ready. And that pays each year for the insurance and the road tax, vehicle duty excise, whatever they call it, road tax. I'm old fashioned. And that pays for, for the MOT test, whatever. And that pays for the work that wants doing. And it pays for things like this week when it needed, another 600 quid of work doing. That paid for that. The van hasn't cost me a huge amount over the 4 odd years plus that I've owned it. This last few so I don't know, 4-6 months, somewhere in there, it's had a couple of £1,000 worth of work done to it. A previous owner botched up some of the repair a little bit, so it had some ball joints welded in that shouldn't have been, and that meant that we had to replace a lot more than we should have done, and had to get the oxyacetylene out and all the rest of it. But you see, that's what the money's for, because the vans have to be looked after. You've got to look after your van. If you live in a van, that doesn't matter how brand spanking new it is, if it's literally a brand new van, or if it's a 20, 25, 30-year-old, van, old Ford Transit, whatever, that's still going, they've got to be looked after. You've got to treat your home properly. You've got to make sure that when you turn the key, it starts. You've got to make sure that when you press the brake pedal, it stops. That's quite important, that. And that everything works properly. And you need to have a little bit of money behind, do you? You need to have a little bit put away so that you can pay for that. I can insure this van against being stolen, and I can insure it against bursting into flames, and I can insure it against being smashed into by somebody else and written off. I can insure that. But I think, have to be responsible for the ongoing stuff. I have to be, I have to put some money away, which is like my insurance, to cover servicing it and to cover repairing a bit if it breaks or falls off. Because it's not like us van lifers can put them on your driveway for a month until you've got some money saved up and then get it fixed. We can't do that. There isn't a driveway to put it on. This is home, and it's got to be right. So, yeah, I think that's a valid point, is to look after your van, to take good care of it, to service it, and to make sure that everything's right. Don't skimp and cut corners, whatever. Get work done properly. If you can do it yourself, all well and done, but if not, pay somebody that's good and that you trust and have it done properly. Get it looked after and sorted out. That's important. You need to do that. So yeah, that was that. Had it serviced, had it sorted out. Brakes are good now. It's future-proofing it. I know next year when it's due its MOT, I haven't got to worry about the brakes or the handbrake. I know they'll be all right. I ain't got to worry about those ball joints. They'll be fine. I know they'll be fine. They're good for probably longer than this van's going to live. So they'll be great. They're fine, and I ain't got to worry about them anymore. We can find something else to worry about instead. But yeah, not a lecture, but yeah, put a little money away. That's only sensible. Budget a little bit of money. Take good care of your van. You take good care of your van's going to take good care of you. That'll start every time, and that'll stop every time, and that'll be all right. So yeah, put some money away and look after it. So, plans for next week? I don't know, really. Between you and me, don't tell anyone, that's my birthday next week. I shall be 53 summers old. Yes, I will. My word, 53. It seemed like only yesterday I was 20. I think I've blinked and missed a few years in the middle, but there you go. So, yeah, not sure what we're going to do for that. I've only got a little bit of family. Parents are both still alive, but no grandparents. And got a daughter I see, and, got a brother and stuff, but I don't know what we shall do. I sort of wanted to go fishing next week as well. I got a few days off midweek, and the kids will be back at school, so the beaches will be a bit quieter. I sort of like to have a little go and have a little fish. I don't know how we'll fit it all in. We'll sort something. We'll have to have a look at the tide times. We'll have to look at that. But yeah, 53 next week. So, don't know. Maybe there'll be a photograph of me in a party hat blowing out one candle on a little cake like that next week. We'll have to have a look for you. So, yes, that's about it really. Like I say, not a lot happened this week. I was trying to save my pennies a little bit, you know. I don't work a great deal. I'm not a millionaire. Oh, God, I wish I was. So, yeah, that's really about it. That's about it. We'll have more to report next week. We're going to keep doing this. In the meantime, if you enjoy my videos, if you enjoy watching this idiot waffle on, you know, hit the old like and subscribe thing. That way the old algorithm will get some happiness spread around the world. My Suffolk accent will get everywhere eventually. They'll all have heard of me. So yeah, if you would, tap the little buttons down the bottom. Subscribe is a silly name for it, YouTube, because it's not a subscription and it doesn't cost you any money. It just means that I will pop up on your feed, your whatever they call it on YouTube, when I bring out another video, ting, and that'll appear, and you can go, oh, that twit's put another video up. Let's have a look at it. So that's all that means. YouTube, if you're out there, pick a better name for that. Call it something different. Any questions, any suggestions, any things you'd like to see, hear about, want to know how I do stuff, anything like that, pop it down in the comments below. Leave a little comment, leave a little suggestion, a little question, a little something like that. I do read them all. I absolutely promise I do. It's amazing when I hear from them, and I've had some from the States and all kinds of places, and it's awesome. I wasn't really expecting it, and it's brilliant that I get them, and I read them all, and I try and reply to them all, the ones that I can. We're still at the stage where I can read and record and reply to them all. We're not getting thousands yet. One day, who knows? So yeah, leave me a little comment down the bottom. Tap the little thumbs up if you think it was okay, if this video was nice. If you think this video was rubbish, don't tap the little thumbs down. Yeah, tap it. Tap it anyway. Leave me a comment down the bottom. I promise I'll read them. I'll give you a little reply if you do. All right? Other than that, unfortunately, not a lot to report this week. Been a quiet week. Quiet week's a good week. So we'll see you all next time. We'll see you next Sunday when I put another video up. You all take care of yourselves now. You mind where you park up. Yeah, if it doesn't feel right, don't park there. That's probably a good idea to move somewhere that feels a bit safer. But you all take care of yourselves. I will see you next week. You mind what you all get up to together. And we'll speak to you later now. Bye. And don't forget, park safe, park legal, and don't park on the boy. I'll be seeing you about together. You take care now. Bye.